What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Gary Numan, and we're returning for the final track on Telekon 1980. Thank you again to Mr. Solo. And in fact, the folder he shared has two additional tracks, two bonus tunes, one of which I've already reacted to, which is to say We Are Glass. Doug sent me a 7-inch from Numan a while back, and I believe the B-side was We Are Glass, so I did go through that maybe a year or two ago. But also I Die, You Die is in the folder, and I don't think that's on the album proper, so that's what we'll do next time. But the final tune on the album proper is Joy Circuit, which, given Numan's recurring subject matter on the last couple albums, I'm inclined to see as some sort of electromechanical circuit which transmits a signal or message characterized by or causing joy, and thus the idea of joy being more deterministic or material based and less cognitive and, let's say, spiritual or beyond the strictly physical. But then, of course, I'm thinking about a circuit as a series of events or experiences. You know, the idea of, well, I'm going to go on the full circuit and go through all of the different stops on this route. So yeah, I feel like maybe the first meaning is more likely. Obviously neither of them could be relevant, but yes, I do feel like the phrase has an interesting poetry to it, and I do wonder whether we'll be in the realm again of robotic thinking or androids. Of course, this album, as I've learned, including with the previous track, has seemingly had a lot of personal feelings and experiences from Numan in his professional, musical life that have been imbued in some of these poetic lyrics, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's another example of that here. In any case, let's give it a listen. This is Gary Numan, the track is Joy Circuit, and it's the final tune on his 1980 album Telekon. was a really enjoyable tune. I love that, and for once I'm not complaining about a fade out. Again, people who know my channel know I've come to a more nuanced appreciation of fade outs, even if there are songs I feel like do benefit from a proper, like, cold ending. In any case, as an album ender, I feel like sometimes fade outs are even more appropriate, and I think it works here as everything's kind of flourishing and, sort of getting super saturated. I will say, it's like in some ways the Sonics are similar to a lot of other Numan tunes, but it's like the more electric and alien sounding synths have in large part been replaced by more natural sounding instruments, meaning there's a lot of string work here that in another Numan track I would expect to be more like electrically keyboard sounding, and there's also like some true piano type of melodic runs that again I would otherwise expect to have a more electric, like organ or keyboard sound. So yeah, like it feels like not far away from a tune like Cars or some of his other ones, except less synthetic sounding and actually more natural instrument sounding. Now it's interesting because some of the like fiddle or violin work has a richness to it, almost like a little bit Celtic in flavor, but then there's the like more frantic playing, and it almost sounded like, two cellos when they're getting really intense and frenetic and, kind of like fraying the strings on their bow. So, yeah, there's like an intensity to it, and of course then there's those like ambient, like breakdown sections where they have those pulses, melodic and percussive, and those were a little unusual, not like unheard of in his music, but definitely like those stood out because they were really distinct from the more like energetic and typical Numan sections of the track. So sonically, I really enjoyed the composition and the sequencing, the chronology of the tune. Vocally, he's kind of in his, normal, like comfortable wheelhouse, sort of not mechanical, but very like monotone style delivery. Lyrically, I heard the line like we're on the joy circuit, so I'm thinking maybe it is more about like going to different stops, going to different places, although that could be conceptual, that could be psycho-emotional or electro-emotional. But then there was like, what was the line? It was something about like the image flickers, so I wonder if it is like, a signal is being transmitted, but it's not perfectly true or continuous or consistent. So lyrically, I was struggling to keep up with this one, but in part because I was so gripped by the Sonics, both in terms of what I've come to expect from him and in terms of some of the natural instrument sound here, something that felt a bit anomalous, a bit different. So a really compelling album closer. Once again, we have one more tune in the folder I haven't reacted to, I Die, You Die. Thank you again to Mr. Solo and to Doug, once again, who sent me that 7-inch a while back. Let me know what you think of the tune. I'll see you for the next one. Peace.